Hey, it's Carm3D on the tube. Today I am putting together a little animation because I wanted to give you guys some overview of the animation tools in Cinema, my riggers. And so let me just step through what I have here, or rather scrub through. Let me show you. I'm basically just grabbing this green dot here. Okay, so I've got a couple errors that I intentionally left at the end of the animation, so I'm just going to fix them right before your eyes. So as you can see, we got keyframes. These little blue notches are keyframes along the timeline, although they call it the power slider, I believe. Marketing. Okay, so I want to edit this. The first thing I want to fix is right here, but actually I want to fix this one. Both of these legs land at the same time, and I just think that would be more interesting if this one landed a little later than the other one. So I'm going to grab that, which I've done, and I right click and I choose, let's right click over here so you can see it. I choose show F curves, or maybe show tracks. In fact, I know that there's a keyframe on here too, so I'm going to pick both of these guys. Let's try it that way. Okay. Show tracks. Alright, that brings up a new window. These are tracks. These are the F curves. So let's go back to tracks. And I can use the standard tools here for navigating around the viewport. And what I want to do is see here, they both land here, and I want him to land a frame before that. Okay, that's good. The only problem with it now is, if you can see, these little black dots along the blue line are the actual placements of the object at every frame. And of course the thicker black lines are the keyframes, but these little thin black lines are the frames between the keyframes. And you can see there's one right here and there's one right here. That means it's slowing to a stop, which I don't want. It's a falling object. I want it just to fall. So I'm going to switch from that mode to this mode, showing the F curves. And let's shrink this down so you can see everything. Okay, this is the Y position of the foot, and this is the falling element that I want to fix. By the way, usually when you first open this thing up, it'll look like that. And so you just want to go to F curve menu and say, turn that off, show all tracks, so that it's only showing one at a time, so you don't have a big mess to look at. So I want to grab this handle and move it like that, so it doesn't slow to a stop. Right here it was slowing to stop. These are the frames and these are the values, so you can see it slows down there. So let's do that, but the problem is, of course, the other side. So I'm going to hold the shift button down and then move that like that. So there, now it's not going to fall softly, it's going to fall a little more harshly. Yeah, it's good. Except I think I want it to fall a frame after instead of a frame before. Let's try that. Yeah, I like that. Okay, the only other problem is that this foot here, I have him landing a little too close compared to what the rest of his movement's going to be. You can see his leg detaches there because it's too far away. So I'm going to have him land that foot a little further forward. So I could simply go to that keyframe where it lands and move it on the Z, but instead I'll do it in here. Show F curves. Okay. F curve. Show all tracks. That's really annoying how you have to do that every time. But what do you think this is? Lightwave? Okay. Let's move this over here. I'm just going to drag that up, and you can see he now lands a little further there. I'm going to go to my right view so we can get a better look at this. Okay. Oh. I think the camera is having an effect on my right view. I didn't want that to happen. How do you turn that off? Gosh, that's weird. Okay, it's not doing it anymore. Yeah, the foot's detaching, so that's a problem. Alright, what I might do is pull that back where it was. And just have him make another quick step. Right there. So he's going to almost do a second hop. Okay, so you can see it's detached there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to step back a few frames, pick my foot, set a keyframe for that. Rotate it forward so it doesn't detach. And also pick my main foot guy, set a keyframe for here, because now he is going to, that's where we are right here. I'll have him land right there. Like that. Okay, so right now it's just going to slide forward. It's also dipping down, so we can fix that. Position Y. Shift, click on the handle. That's fixed. It's looking awkward, but I'm sure I can massage that. I don't think this thing needs to be quite so drastic. And I think this might be a... Yeah, it's just a little too long. You should land right around there. I'm going to select both of these. Show F curves. Okay. Actually, maybe I'll just go to tracks mode. There. Now I'm just going to have his foot lift up. Alright, and now let's deal with these guys here. I got very little space to work with. So what I'm going to do is pull this guy in. Got very little pixels to work with because my window is squished small for this viewing area of the screen recorder. But oh, got the wrong guy selected. Okay. Just a little bit of a hop. In fact, I think he went a little too far forward. I know this is not exciting. Whoops. Okay. I gotta tell you about this thing, this annoying thing. This dotted line. Actually, you can barely see it. Let me switch to a brighter color track. You still barely see it, and I think you see a little better here. This is showing the uppermost range of all the keys. So if you grab it, you can just scale the entire thing, which is very destructive. So just watch out for that. Don't grab these things, because otherwise you mess everything up on your timeline for that channel. Let's see, where was I? Yeah. He just needs to do a little hopping with the box to coincide with what his feet are doing now. So he goes down, up, and then down. So show F curves. Turn that annoying feature off. Okay, it's difficult to show all this with the very limited real estate. Maybe if I scroll this over, it'll help somewhat. Down. So right about here. Okay, this is a little soft. So I'm going to show you some more pointers about keyframes. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, if I shift click on here, you can do that, but that's going to be a little too harsh. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to turn that off by turning off break tangents. That restores that curve there. So I'm just going to squeeze it like that, and maybe even expand this one. That's pretty good. I really shouldn't spend too much time continuously fine-tuning this animation, because it's going to take forever. It's going to be boring. what I should do now is just completely destroy my animation by showing you some more features. Before I do that, I'm going to show you this feature that is just wonderful and necessary. I can't stress how much this is necessary to be able to export everything I'm working on to a preview animation like a QuickTime or an AVI. Okay, that was weird. Perspective. Okay. First of all, I'm going to right click here and choose expand to full time. You can't see it, it's off the screen, but that shows everything. Or I could just drag these. So here's my entire animation. I know that my screen recorder does not grab this. It's only grabbing like 7 or 8 frames a second, so you're probably not seeing it very smoothly, but you go into the render mode menu and choose make preview, and then you say yeah 640, that's fine, 30 frames a second is what I want, AVI, that's fine, and then hit OK. And so you look in the corner here, it says calculating preview. Okay, once that's done, it pops up this picture viewer which plays your animation. Except for one thing, it's not playing the animation. It doesn't work. So that's unfortunate for me. Hopefully when you use it, it won't be that case, because from here you can save it out as a QuickTime or something like that for your viewing pleasure. But unfortunately this doesn't work, which means really I can't even use this software for actual animation, because it's just impossible for me to make a preview in real time. The only thing I can do is use this play button here and just pretend that it's playing in real time, and the more complex the machine is, the less it's going to do that. So that's unfortunate. I just wish you better luck than it's given me with that. So that's lame. Alright, so now I got my animation. I'm happy with it. I'm just going to completely destroy it by showing you some more features of these animation editing tools. I'm just looking at it one last time before I kiss it goodbye. Isn't it lovely? Okay. So let's look in here. Again, this is the power slider thing here. Oh, here it is, options, and you can't see it. Okay, here's advanced mode. Before I go into advanced mode, let me show you. While I'm in here, I can click on a keyframe, and I'm going to drag this in a bit more. Ugh. Alright, I'm gonna make this full screen so I have a little more freedom of movement here. There we go. Okay, so these are the keyframes. I can drag them around like so, and basically I'm just moving them forward and backward in time by doing so. Now, options, advanced mode. This shows them in a different way. I can no longer drag them. I have to shift, drag to highlight a range, like so, and then I can drag the entire range. Or I can grab these little markers and scale the keys there. And again, in options, there's split PSR mode, which is position for red, scale is gray, which I can't see because I'm not editing any scale, and then blue is rotation. and in vector mode is X, Y, and Z. So let's go back into the F-curves and just show you some more of these things with these keys. Annoying feature off. Okay, now we can only see one channel. Oops. Okay. These tangent guys, you can see they're arrows, or triangles rather. If I shift click on one, it turns into a circle indicating that it's broken. And all of these options here are related to these tangents. So example, if I want to lock the time, now when I click and drag I can only go up and down, which is just editing the value right there. Or just the opposite, if I want to lock the value I can only drag forward and backward in time. Auto tangents is on by default. I thought I turned that off. Okay, something weird's happening. Oh, that was bizarre. Okay, there we go. Auto tangents, turn that back on. Oh, it keeps turning off. Alright, it's not working. What it's supposed to do is automatically tweak the tangents of your neighboring keys. It doesn't matter, it's not important. Clamp is turned on. I don't know why. Okay. If I turn clamp on, I don't know why I selected that key, but you can see that the tangents are like free to move around, but then when I exceed the height, oh, it turned clamp off again. I don't know why it keeps selecting other things. Let's try it again. Okay, there it goes. See, when it moves above the key there, it straightens out, which basically eases in and eases out. And then here it's free, and here it's not free. Now I can no longer edit the ease. I can only stretch them. But when I turn clamp off, now I'm able to do anything I want. Let's look at the various interpolation options. We are on spline, which is the default one. Linear is like so. So if you want to move something at a steady pace with no easing allowed, that's linear. And this is step. Step is if you want something to be held in place until the next keyframe, and then it will jump to that location. I'm sure this will be very jarring if we look at it in the preview now. So you can see it jumps up. Actually, there's a whole bunch of weirdness happening. Oh, I was scaling these guys. That was what I was doing. I was dragging this thing. Alright, so just drag I gotta shift select to deselect that. Alright, now it's working. And so now you can see it jumps up. So that's step. That's a very universal. If I could just talk, that's a fairly universal feature there. Let's see, let's go to these guys here. The key mode. I can multi-select things, I can scale the key placements, I can move the key placements. I think there are options where you can quantize the keys. In other words, they always land on an actual absolute frame number, as opposed to like having it land on frame 104.5 or something like that. It's probably not called quantize, that's a Lightwave thing. enable frame snapping, that's it. Now I can place them anywhere in the timeline, even on odd values like 104.5 or whatever. Let's see here, what else can I show you here? Oh yes, this is a good one. This is important. Somewhere in here is view. Is that it? Somewhere in here is a velocity option. Show velocity, here it is. Okay. You could probably barely see it. You see this dark line here? This is showing the velocity, how fast the value is changing from frame to frame. So let me show you how this is useful. Okay. Let me first turn it off. Okay, so let's say I got this curve here and I want to make it smoother. So I'll go like that. Okay, so I think I've got a pretty smooth curve. I'm pretty happy with myself. But if I go to show velocity, actually I did a pretty good job, but if there was a little bit of a kink there, you can see it shows a kink in the velocity. And so I know to modify it like so to make it completely smooth. Here's another bit of a kink right here. Smooth that out. Okay, so those are really the basics. There are a number of other features, but it's like shortcuts for various things. So like if I have a key selected, I can say 0 angle tangent, and that just basically flattens it. So yeah, I could have grabbed it and flattened it manually, but this is just a way to do it perfectly if you wanted to. Or you could do the same thing in here. Just zero out these numbers here. Oh, actually, what that did, I think I accidentally did another one. And I can't undo it. But that just basically zeroed out the length and the value of the key, which is ideal for like if you wanted a bouncing ball. See, it would bounce right there. No smoothing whatsoever. And you can restore that by editing these values. And there it is again. Yeah, so if you look in the key menu, you'll see lots of various options. There's that clamp mode again. Make relative. If I turn that on, deselect it, you can see the key is now a different shade of blue. And now when I edit an adjacent key, it keeps it relative in time to where it was. Quantize selection, I would imagine that would, if I had some frames that were, whoops, stupid dotted line again. If I had some frames that were at odd angles, and I choose odd key time frames, that is like 104.5, hit quantize, and now these are all absolute frames, I think. Let's find out. I hate that feature. Yeah, it's an exact frame, but if I say 0.5, quantize, and that puts it back into an absolute frame number. So yeah, I think we've covered the basics. You know, I don't know what this does, motion mode. We'll probably have to deal with that later. Yeah. If I think of anything else that's important, I'll let you know, but other than that, I think we've pretty much covered it. So, I'll see you next time. Hold fast, cinema riggers. I interrupt your tutorial for this special news bulletin. This button records your keyframe. This button enables and disables keyframe recording automatically. This is a question mark. This button is for recording position information. This button is for recording scale information, and this button is for recording rotation information. All of them apply to keyframes. This is for parameter recording, whatever that is, and this is for point level animation recording. I now return you to your regularly scheduled outro.